Welcome to the Bud Rebel Show. The Bud Rebel Show is a quite unique show. We try to have two aspects in it. The Bud, being a good, fun person, and the Rebel side, where you're just a little bit different. We are always going to have an interesting character that fills that side, and both sides of it. We're also going to have the trending music topics and video topics and news topics we're going to talk about. We're also going to have an idea that's going to make you either millions or lose your millions. But it is a unique idea that you'll get nowhere else than on the Bud Rebel Show, plus some interesting fact of the day. So before I go any further, I'd like to introduce you our guest, Nick Dispensa. Hi, Nick. How you doing?
I don't know who this Nick Dispensa character is. My name is Cliff Caesar Bugatti from Bensonhurst, Brooklyn. Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
I was supposed to get Nick Dispensa?
I don't know who that is. Sounds like some.
All right. Well, we are live on the show, so I guess we'll continue with Cliff. Cliff, right? It is.
Yeah.
Okay. Cliff. I don't know. This is sort of interesting. I have a feeling you're Italian. Is that? I'm not stereotypical, but
goddamn straight. That's
right. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. Because I have some topics that are maybe related to that to some degree.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm the expert on this whole thing. So yeah.
Okay. So let me give you something that is interesting. See, recently I had a pizza outside my place in the house.
Spumoni Gardens.
It was just a regular pizza. Spumoni Gardens. I've never seen that one. Is that the number one pizza place?
It's the place I go to down in Brooklyn.
Oh really?
It's the best.
The best.
Okay. I eat 4 Sicilian slices right before I work out, and then immediately after, get you fucking strong.
Let me wait.
Get you in shape.
Now wait. Do you think? Okay, so this is what happens. We had the pizza outside the house here.
All right.
And it's there like for 10 minutes. And all of a sudden, I see a squirrel take a slice of the pizza.
Squirrel?
Now, yeah, and I'm wondering, are there Italian squirrels and regular squirrels? Since you're Italian, have you ever seen anything like this where a squirrel? Now, because I've had food outside my house, but for some reason, it was a good slice. He took the whole slice. I mean, I'm like wondering, is this like I don't know what's going on there.
It sounds like a bad Lou Monte song that you're describing to me. You know? What is this, like Pepe the Italian mouse or something like that? But it's a squirrel this time?
I have no clue. Okay. I mean, again, I wasn't planning to have somebody with such a traditional Italian flavor, let's say, to my podcast. But since you're here, there's a very interesting topic that people always have a controversy. I'm going to bring up something controversial. So just, by the way, I really would refer, please, do not show that emblem on my show. I'm a Mets fan.
Which
really,
one? So this one?
No, that's really. I don't need to see
that.
No.
The Yankees are the only team that exists. All right.
It's really no reason to be here with it. I didn't. Again, I would appreciate my director. Please don't have any more Yankee fans.
No more
on the
Yankee
show.
fans.
No, we have Met fans. Okay, Yankees are like.
Absolutely not. No.
I don't know.
The Yankees, the most dominant team in all of baseball history, and they're from New York. Come on.
And that's exciting. A team that pays off their players to play. That's exciting.
Yeah, you got to pay the greats.
Yeah.
You got to give them a huge salary. Otherwise, they're not going to do their job. See, the problem with the Mets is they don't pay them nothing, and they get a bunch of slackers.
So what's the point?
Queens.
What's the point of watching baseball, which is like the one who makes the most money? It's not about the talent. It's about if I pay the most money, I got the team all the time. The Mets, on the other hand, in '69, team that no one expected to come out. 86 World Series. They're a team that comes from nowhere and plays the game.
Yeah, like the Rangers.
Okay, they come out and they win it. Yankees,
you
expect them and they have to win all the time. It's like,
you know what it's like? It's
yeah.
like the Rangers and the Jets. Like the Jets, they've been pretending to screw it up every year. They're laying low for what is it, 53 years.
But when they win, it's going to be a big deal. One day they're going to win.
Yeah, they're letting everyone else's heads get big. They're letting everyone else think that they're winning, and when in the last second they're going to come in there and just clobber them all.
You realize what's going on now? I didn't even plan to bring this up today.
What's going on?
But baseball is getting like boxing, because of teams like the Yankees. Nobody can watch a stupid sport. You can't figure out what channel it's on. It used to be when I was growing up, it's either Mets 9, Channel 11, Yankees, and that was it. Now you have to have streaming this service. You don't know. Have no idea how to watch a game anymore.
Cable package. I don't
what
know
cable package?
How any of this works? Then my nephew was telling me I should stream it online. I'm like, I don't even know how to turn a computer on.
And
I don't
stream
understand
it.
how this
and
works.
This is all because you're Yankees. Because they had it started with Reggie Jackson, $1 million. That was $1 million. It was the first one. They screwed up the whole game.
I could watch my Yankees Yankees. 'Cause
Yeah,
I'm
how do you
everywhere.
watch it? Yeah, maybe illegally, but you ain't gonna watch it from any streaming service now. There's no, I mean, maybe you're watching it from up in the Bronx, one of the boomers there, but I think you're watching the game there.
I got
And they
family tickets. We got season passes.
Season
So I go.
season
for
tickets.
free
What are you, a
all the time.
millionaire? I mean, how much do seats cost then, huh?
Pretty much, you know.
And how about the hot dogs? The hot dogs, what, they $50 a hot dog now
I
at
don't
Yankee
even know.
Stadium?
Money is no object at that point. When I'm in Yankee
All right.
Stadium, it's just heaven.
Listen,
you know?
listen. It killed the sports of your team. By the way, okay, back to now. Well, let's see a little calmer here for a moment. Pizza.
All right, pizza. Yeah.
Pizza. Okay. What is the best pizza? This is always a controversial point.
Oh yeah, Spumoni Gardens, Brooklyn.
Why?
Best pizza.
Why?
Because they just know how to do it right. They're
No.
authentic. They're from fucking. All of them are from Italy. They get it right. That's my spot. That's where I
Wait,
go.
let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Is it really pizza? It depends on the person because some like the sauce,
Yeah.
some like the cheese,
Some
and some like the
some
crust.
persons are wrong though.
But some like the crust. You know what I'm saying? So if
yeah.
you're going with crust, you may not be going with spaghetti. Or you might want to go to another place. I want a crispy crust. If I want a crispy crust, that is the key ingredient. Am I still going to spaghettis?
Oh yeah, they got everything. They got just the right amount of sauce. Just the right amount of crust. And it could be exactly the way you like it.
I want a spicy pizza. They have the spice.
yeah.
What do they call it? What do they call it?
It'll singe your taste buds right
Really?
off. You'll never be able to taste anything else again.
This is I got a different viewpoint here.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Who is it?
All
Somebody
right, wait.
from,
this was not planned
Queens,
again.
the
I don't want to tell you this.
fucking pizza.
This was rated the number one pizza place in the world, by the way, just recently. And I'm just
By who? Some hipsters?
I don't know. Number one place. I didn't plan to do this again, just because you came on the show.
All right. Let's see.
It's called Una Pizza Napoletani in New York City. Number one in the world.
In the world.
In Manhattan.
What do these people know? These journalist hipster jerk offs. They don't know nothing.
Have
about
you been
pizza.
there?
No, I ain't been over there.
Why don't you taste it? I mean, you just
Over to that place?
Yeah, we placed it.
It sounds like some place that probably they serve like lattes, and then the pizza's all whatever. They make it out of They make it out of the what? The broccoli? What is it called? The cauliflower?
Cauliflower.
Fuck all that bullshit. No. Over here they do authentic Italian pizza.
What's the oven?
Thin crust.
What's the oven? Is it the brick oven? Is it a brick oven? Is it a brick oven?
Yeah.
Do you work for this place? I mean, it's like you love this place.
No, it's
a commercial
the only
endorsement?
place I go to eat at all.
Really?
Either that and then the Del Rio Diners, but they closed that place down, so I don't go there no more.
No, really.
My only two spots. I go out there, and then I just hang out with everybody in the neighborhood. You know, everyone comes by, to hang out and see Cliff. I hold the fort down. Make this whole place run.
Now, truthfully.
What was that?
Truthfully, are you really Cliff or are you really Nick Dispensa?
Who's Nick Dispensa?
I think that's really who you are. Why don't you reveal? Are you like Batman in disguise? Let's get the truth out right now, live on this podcast, because you look a lot like Nick Dispensa.
Why? It's because I'm so young.
I think
because I look so good.
I think once
perfect regimen.
I think once you take that awful shirt off you, and you wear the other shirt, I think Nick Dispensa is going to come out alive. Can we just see what happens? Let's just see what happens right now, live on this podcast. Let's see what happens when you take that Yankee shirt. Can we see the real Nick Dispensa? All right, this is what we're seeing right now. We're not know what's going to happen. This might be revealed. The true person behind the mask is actually behind the shirt. I think he's getting ready as we speak. And as he speaks, he's got a glass on. Oh! No, this is still Cliff, isn't this?
There we go.
Wait a minute. So now we got Nick.
Yeah, sorry. That happens sometimes. I get like a little
Is it like something? Is this like where did Mr. Cliff come from? Tell us a little about him.
I've been talking to my therapist about it. My psychiatrist, I just lost my coverage, but I'm going to get a new one and we'll figure it out.
So this is now, I mean, does people know that they really believe that this is your person?
Yeah.
It's Cliff.
One time we put out a Cliff note. One time we put out like a Cliff video. And then we paid for likes just to see if we can get people to watch it. And it was something about a sports team. It was one of those Super Bowls. And people were writing back angrily, you son of a bitch. Thinking of being serious.
Do they think that you're real, or do they think that it's a
I
character?
guess in that one comment section on that one video, they thought
you
it was
walk
real.
around as Cliff in the world, or you walk around as Nick, or sometimes you get mixed up.
Yeah, sometimes I'll black out and then
You all of a
I
sudden
come
go
back,
by?
and then a bunch of things will be uploaded to YouTube, and I'm like, I don't know what the fuck just happened.
Yeah. Do you know where Cliff came from?
Yeah, no, I mean, so Cliff came from when I was like about 23. I reconnected with a friend of mine from high school. He was from Brooklyn. I'm not from Brooklyn. I'm from Queens. But we were walking around the city, like we hadn't seen each other in a couple of years, and then we kind of reconnected. He was an actor, and I just started getting into filmmaking. Like I was putting some stuff together with a few cameras, and we would walk around Manhattan together, and I just kept doing this voice. It was kind of a Rodney Dangerfield impression almost, but I was pulling from a few people. Like at the time I was a pizza delivery boy also, and I was kind of imitating some of the things I would hear some of the pizzeria owners say. There were these two brothers that used to work there, and sometimes they would say some of the most ridiculous, outlandish shit. I'm like, God, this is so hilarious to watch. And then there was and then on top of that, there was a few other people that I was like kind of pulling from in my mind. And then we would just kind of walk around the city, and my friend would just ask, like, we kind of came up with the name for this character, and then he would just kind of ask me like questions, and this kind of helped me as an actor. He was like, hey, what does Cliff think about this? And then I would just kind of in that voice would just be like, I don't like that, fuck that, you know, like, or, you know, whatever, you know. We come up with these bits, and we're like, no, we got to turn this in like a video of some sort. We'll just have you give your theories, you know.
And Cliff's been on a few videos. I'm gonna say, if I want to see Cliff, I could see him. As a YouTube channel. Or?
Yeah. I got a YouTube channel, and there's like, there's 20 something videos now, you know.
So Cliff has gone to Cliff's gone to that pizzeria.
Oh yeah. Actually, we've never done a Cliff Note at Spumoni Gardens, but it's a real pizza. I've been there before though.
Is the pizza really that good?
It's pretty good. It's like
Nick doesn't like as much as Cliff. Nick doesn't like as much as Cliff.
I mean, it's you know the reason I did this whole thing with this character because when I was growing up, when I used to go to school, a lot of the kids from my school were from other boroughs, and the kids from Brooklyn, including that friend, used to swear that the Queens pizza was not as good as the Brooklyn pizza. They're like, oh yeah, Queens pizza. Oh. They used to always have some kind of a thing to say, and I was always like, every pizzeria to me tastes completely different. And whenever I'd go to their neighborhoods, I was like, this isn't like at all different than anything I've had up by my house, you know?
I think that's why Cliff needs to be around, because he can tell you the difference. Do you taste it? Does it taste different as Cliff does?
But you know what? But when Cliff comes around, he lets you know.
Right.
He lets you know. He lets you know.
So you also were
Queen's pizza sucks.
So you were involved in the film The Undead. Am I correct on that? I remember you being that. And I think I saw you as Cliff or Nick. I'm not sure. I think you were both there. What was your role there again?
It was key grip.
Key grip. Yeah. So, like, for people that don't know what that means, what does a key grip do?
Key grip is one of the two departments that make up lighting. So there's two departments. There's the electric department, and the department head is the head of that department is the gaffer, and then there's the grip department, and the key grip is the head of that department. And the difference between them is that electric really in the strictest form is anything electric on set, even down to the hair and makeup people, to the lunch. Like all the electricity on the film set has to be set up by the electrical department, and that's in the most strict union rules areas. It's not just the lights on set, but they're mostly dealing with lights, like how much power we're pulling, you know, from different power sources, how much we have to spread around, and how much we're hitting our subjects with. And they work with the director of photography to construct the shots. The other now the grips are mostly in the strictest form are usually more about shaping the light using a lot of these different filters and different what we call flags, just like certain frames and stuff like that to either shine light through or to stop light and shape light with. And on top of that, they're also in charge of rigging things. So let's say usually they don't touch lights, but if there's something that needs to go up really high in a very dangerous spot, they'll be in charge of making sure that light is in in that spot and safe and nothing comes crashing down, because some of those lights can kill you.
Wow.
Yeah.
So during the filming, I didn't get to see all the little things. Was there any like major any problems you could tell us about now the behind the scenes that you didn't know about?
I got a major welt on my head. I don't know if you see that scar right there.
That's an undead star.
Yeah, it's a scar. It's a battle scar. It was my fault. I put a grip head in a place I shouldn't have, and then it fell and it hit me. I mean, there was nothing really heavy on it. It was just like this. It's really not that heavy, but it was just heavy enough.
I think I saw you with that Band-Aid on your head.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's what that's from.
Wow,
So,
that's cool.
I mean, it hit me, but it was because I was being careless.
So even if
shouldn't.
the film doesn't do as well, at least we'll have that mark that life will know about that mark about it.
Hopefully, it's less severe in a few months. Ask you, where'd you get the idea for that movie?
For the undead?
Yeah.
Well, I'm the host, so you don't you're
Well,
allowed to ask me questions.
Oh, I can't ask. Oh, Jesus. Okay.
No.
Is it the hierarchy now?
Actually, the story of the undead is basically about the end of times, and of course, as it's written in the book, that the end of times, the dead will rise. I'm not going to reveal the story too much.
Oh no,
but
yeah.
I mean, the idea, it's a great thought to me, and I said, why not do something like that? And I feel like, and I wanted to do it now because things are pretty screwed up now, I think, in the world, and I think it's time that people like have something optimistic in a way that if the world ends as a different outlet than we might see, you might say. So I had this a long time. I mean, I had this for like 10 years, and then I was able to, because of circumstances, decided it's time to make another film. I did All Screwed Up, so this is the second film on that. That was on that level.
Nice.
So I wanted to talk to you about some of the more current topics going on, to get an opinion about it. I don't know if you've seen this. Martha's Vineyard.
Mm-hmm.
Very elite place for those who are there. And you know that the, quote, people that are coming illegally in the border, they're in Texas, Florida, other places. They're in areas where the income level is not as high.
Mm-hmm.
And generally, the people that come, there are good people. There are not such good people. There are people bringing fentanyl. There are people bringing not such good people, and so forth. But Texas and Florida have had to take a lot of them in Arizona. So the governor decided that since the places such as New York and Martha's Vineyard are seem to be very accepting of these, quote, illegal immigrants.
Yep.
They decided to bring them by bus to their little communities. And there's been like unbelievable response. Like, this horrible. How could you do this? And I'm trying to understand. It's like if I say to you, I love chocolate, so give me some chocolate, and all of a sudden I'm complaining there's too much chocolate. Why are these people from Martha's Vineyard who said, bring over all these people into our land, all of a sudden complaining about it? I can't understand it.
I think they should have known that they were going to do that because the governors of both Texas and Florida have said that they're going to do that for quite a few months now. They've been saying that we're going to ship them over. They've been sending that as a warning for a while, so it didn't really come out of the blue. The reason they were complaining is because they were acting like it came out of the blue or something, and it's just like, no, they told you that they were going to do that. So,
if it's good, if they want it to be in the country, then bring it to this. They're big supporters.
I think they should just. I think that to make you have a battle of ideas. You have one group that says we should send everyone back, and you have another group that says they like that we should be more. Should bring folks in, and we'll see which idea wins. And if one group really doesn't want a certain the illegal immigrants in, and they send them to the blue state, I think the blue state should then step up and then do what they say that they need to do. And so and so I mean, they had to scramble a little bit, but then that one shipment, if you will, I think it's a terrible way to put it, but yeah, that one plane full that they sent to Martha's Vineyard. They got everyone situated, and it's just that they have to.
They actually moved them out. They actually put them in a military base. They're not in Martha's Vineyard anymore.
Yeah, I mean, they did something about it. So it's like I think they should step up and they should actually do something about it.
Because I always want to say this, and I hate when you have to make a statement before because it's so stupid to me. I mean, I love people come to this country. We all agree people should come to this country. I don't know what your heritage. You think about I guess it's Italian.
Yeah.
Jewish people came from around. We always want that, but we want to have people come where we know who they are.
Sure.
We don't want just people walking. We don't know who they are, just walking through our border. And then you come back, and you're going to come back a year and go to court. And they generally don't come back to court. And throughout that year, I mean, they're abusing young people too. They're taking little young girls and young men, and they're using them as like sex slaves. So, there are a lot of bad people that are using these kids, and the drugs that are coming through. I don't understand. I try to understand all the points of view. That's one of my big things.
Oh, yeah.
I don't understand this point of view of taking people that are illegally coming to this country and we're allowing them to come to without any idea who they are. I mean, they could be terrorists. It doesn't make any sense to me.
I mean, well, I mean, I think this to be serious about it. I think so. When it comes to something like drug dealers, like cartels or something like that, like every race has some sort of a organized crime group. So
Sure.
and Mexico's no different. So they're gonna Mexico and El Salvador and some of these other places, they have their criminal groups. But I always separate them from like the people who are typically coming in looking for like asylum. So they're usually not the same people. Usually, I mean, maybe I don't know. Maybe you could find somebody who came in through the same channels, but usually it's like people who are coming in to ship drugs in are just a totally separate like class of people, I feel. But the people who come in usually, in my experience, are usually very hardworking. Like when I used to work at that pizzeria, especially, there were a bunch of illegal immigrants that used to work there. They worked so much harder than the American kids.
Right.
And it's funny because all the parents used to always complain like, "Oh, these kids, they're fucking lazy." Meanwhile, like these guys would be busting their backs like all day long, and they worked harder than I could and like anybody else in the place. So my whole thing has always been like this. For the most part, I've never had a big problem like with anybody, like even just taking stereotypes into consideration. Mostly like Mexican and like Ecuadorian like people, for the most part, have never really given me a big problem, and I haven't seen too much when it comes to like crime and stuff like that in my experience, especially here in New York. Like my whole thing has just been like, here's what I think needs to happen. I think that the immigration, the actual track to like immigration, like in our country, should probably change to be slightly easier. But also, you know, you make it so that like you give people who are already here who have been working. Let's say you have like the vast majority of people who are living here have been doing so for, let's say 20 to 30 years, and they haven't committed any crimes, but they've been living under the radar, right? You can go, all right, like, so on one hand, you broke one law, but also you haven't been causing a lot of, like, you haven't been, like, committing a bunch of crimes or anything like that. Here's what you, like, here's an opportunity to become a citizen. Like, boom. Like, I think they should start a program like that and give everyone, like, a window of time to do it. And I think that would be probably good for those folks. I think it would be good for the country. I think it would be, like, good because you have, like, there's an entire class of people who would be working. You also wouldn't have people taking advantage of, you know, like, this borderline free labor. Like, that's another big thing. A lot of people who are against illegal immigration always mention, like, oh, and these places, they're just using them for super cheap labor. Like, that's not fair either. I'm like, yeah, no, it's great. So then, like, those folks would become taxpayers. You know, it would be a good thing. But then also when it comes to the actual immigration policies, I just think like it should just be easier, because there's a reason why people are like trying to bypass the original system. You know, and it's like, maybe some of it's arbitrary. Like, we have to take a second look at it.
See, what I would say, I agree with you.
Yeah.
That a lot of the people that come in this country are really good people.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I hate to use that word, but they are lowering the cost of the good people, the people that are in this country. So a lot of these businesses are hiring these people that are illegal immigrants. They're not paying the other workers for it. They're getting away with that. And then they're not hiring Americans to work in this job. And that's a problem, number one. And number two is that if our borders are open, then what you're doing is, even if it's a small amount, which is happening, of the drugs that are coming in the country, and also the other problems, the people, the prostitution, all that stuff that's coming in. So that's a problem. So I'm saying protect that border, open up legal immigration, make it easy to come to country legally.
Yeah, exactly.
And that we have a solution. And at the same time, just make sure, we protect people that work here, jobs, and so forth like that.
Yeah.
Now,
the thing is, here's the thing. Totally. That's the reason why people will sometimes hire an illegal immigrant to do a job instead of an American, because it's like, oh, I could pay this person so much, $2 an hour instead of like 10 or whatever it is, So it's like, so by making everyone citizens, like making it so that it's easier to be a citizen, it kind of takes that away. So then, certain businesses can't hire that, but it will increase the cost of some stuff. We have to be ready for that burden, because it will, if the cost of labor goes up, and then the other, what also gets really it gets a little bit not convoluted, complicated, is then you have companies, they'll start going, oh, then we won't do spinach over here. We won't grow spinach here. We'll just hire people in other countries to do it. Then you have like the shipping things overseas so they can get cheaper labor. So you see, we have to like think about that kind of problem as well,
Yeah, and then again, the biggest problem that you're saying about making the people that are here legal is then all of a sudden they have it gives them incentive right at this moment for people to jump over the border. So there's got to be some type of, it's got to be tough to become a citizen.
Well, yeah.
It's got to be tough to become a citizen once you're here, so that people don't have the incentive to go across the border. Let me get to a different topic. It's been a very big story. If you haven't heard, I don't know if you heard about this.
What's the big story?
This is
What is
breaking news. Really breaking news. The Queen has passed away.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. I don't know how you feel about that. But it's
I didn't hear about that. What happened?
the Queen. She passed away.
Our queen?
Yeah. We don't have a Queen.
Queen
yeah.
Latifah?
Queen Latifah. No, it was the Queen of England.
Oh.
And they're
okay.
making. And honestly, she was a very nice lady. She was a good queen. She was there for a long time. You haven't heard any bad things that the Queen trying to take over the world because they can't do that much.
She kind of did.
She didn't really do that. No, this queen didn't do that much. No, I mean the other queens. She'd been queen. She didn't really do anything. She went to royal things.
She was a little low profile about it, but she did some pretty bad things.
I'm sure they weren't. They're not always like. I mean, what I thought about is like, listen, I'm born where I am born. You're born where you want. I mean, she's born as a queen. She can't help that she was born the queen.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
It's
you're
tough
born.
being
I
the
know it's not tough, but the idea is that she could have done a lot of bad things. She could have gone like, I'm queen. I'm gonna make everyone slave. I mean, she couldn't do that much, but she could have done. So she did a pretty good job being a queen because she's in that position.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And when I wrote about this interesting point in my blog, which is really about the Bud Rebel Productions blog, I wrote about it. I'm sort of royalty in a different way, and I don't mean to be snobby at all, so I apologize.
You know who else is royalty? Cliff Bugatti.
No, but let me just tell you what. No, no, because no joking aside, I'm Jewish and I'm a Cohen. Now, a Cohen is related to Aaron from the Bible, who is, I think, Moses' brother. So I got some royalty, and I had when the temple's rebuilt, I'm doing all the sacrifices. Everyone's going to come to me and all that stuff. And I say prayers and so I have a big role to fill. So in a sense, we have different royalty. But we never really took up any lands, and we didn't do any of that fun stuff. We didn't get to have any of those hats.
No massacres.
No hats. None of that stuff. No, we didn't do that. So I have understanding of the Queen. I don't have a choice because I was born a Cohen.
Right.
So, I understand the Queen has no choice. She's born that way. And she, as a queen, she did a pretty good job. And now there's going to be the first king. I know that's going to be very exciting for you. King Charles is now just in charge. So the world's going to change very much for us in the United States.
I think I'm gonna get into the fool business. I'm gonna be a fool at the.
You get paid. You can do that. Exactly.
Buckingham Palace.
Maybe as the what's his name again?
What was it?
Not as Nick. You'd have to do that as the other person.
Oh, it was Cliff? Cliff is no fool.
It's going to be very, very popular. All right, so we are about to talk about some ideas that are going to either make you millions, bring your life to success, or maybe not. But at least there's something new that you will hear nowhere else than on the Bud Rebel Show. Okay, so we're back. And one of the products ideas I want to introduce is called discontinue.com.
Mm-hmm.
Now, discontinue.com is basically a place that keeps all the items that are getting discontinued. So, later on, you need that, I guess, gaffer or screen that they're not making anymore. You'd go to discontinue.com for it.
That's actually not a bad idea. I like that.
I know. And if Avion water becomes discontinued for some reason, you'd go to discontinue.com to get the water. Everything that you want that's
these cups that they stopped making in New York.
Right, exactly. You'd go to discontinue.com to buy it. And it'd be one big warehouse, and you'd find everything that you need in one place. And what's good about that business model is because it's discontinue.com, you don't really have to worry about being the cheapest place because there's no discontinue.com competing with anybody else.
Oh, yeah, no.
So the margins that you can make on a place like that would be amazing.
I guess the closest thing would be eBay, but that's just like a place where people resell things. I mean,
right.
Yeah, discontinue would be like you figure you have a team of people that their job is to collect the things that haven't been sold yet. Would there be things that are would there be secondhand versions of the same stuff, and would they separate it? Okay, so let's say an entire product is discontinued, but the warehouse still has a bunch. They'd probably buy a bunch of those and hold them, right?
Yeah.
But then once those start to dwindle, would they also maybe take, if someone else has an old one, take it and refurbish it, and it would also be a little bit similar to the way eBay is?
Nick, you bring up a good point. I think you could
that's
add that. That's why I have you on the show. Ideas are very creative. Thank you.
Know.
Yeah, and it was going to talk about that part about it also with discontinue.com. What I did, what happened is that Radio Shack went out of business, and one of my customers needed these knobs, and I bought like every single one of the knobs. They'll give me the idea, and they can only go to me to get the knobs. So I every once in a while I raised the price on it, and they had no choice because they had to get them. Sorry to tell you this.
I don't think you should say this on the radio right now.
Someone's
running right to the patent office, and they're gonna take this idea.
Well, I hope someone does, and if somebody does want to go ahead and do it, as the person on the Bud Rebel Productions website.com, I will help put it together with them. So that's one idea that I really love to push.
All right.
The next idea, I'm going to give you one more idea for this day, is movieclub.com.
Movie club. All right.
Now, Nick, a lot of people love to get involved in movies, but everybody has other jobs, other lives. You don't know how to do it, so forth. And part of the thing is the ambience of the movie. The ambience about being part of the whole group, community. So Movie Club is about that community. Every once in a while, there will be a party that you'd go to. You'd meet other people that in the industry. And the club itself would decide what's the next film, next production. You could start out being let's say a PA. You might want to be an actor. This would give you a chance to be involved. There'd be a certain fee to become part of this, quote, club. But the club itself would be involved in a lot of different productions and a lot of fun stuff. And we build that community. And, sort of like the Adam Sandler, sort of like what we're trying to do with, the Undead. Building that community of people that work together and enjoy each other's company and build on that. And I think because a lot of people like that idea of being part of a, quote, community.
Yeah, and making their fee makes it like members only.
Right, exactly.
You feel like it's you against everyone else.
Yeah.
The one thing that brings people together is having a common enemy. That's one thing I've learned about the human race.
Oh, is this yours?
I think so, yeah.
Sorry. but the thing but also be, I bring that up to also another point.
You have a special hat and a tattoo too.
Yeah, maybe. No, but I'm saying it's funny, but it's interesting, because I just thought as I'm speaking to you, my mind thinks fast. You'd have different levels.
Oh yeah.
So like
the Freemasons.
Like you have what
it's a secret society.
Maybe we live in
That's a better. We should do that. A
secret
society. We shouldn't say.
All right. Well, then I don't want to. I was only going to bring up two ideas, but since you brought up the idea of secret society, I'm going to bring that. Wait, in 1 second.
Yeah. All right.
1 second more. But I didn't mean to do this. This is a very unusual podcast. I'm going to bring up 3 ideas, but maybe this will be on the next podcast. This one, I don't even know if this will be in it.
All right.
But this will be the secret one. But so Movie Club again. We'll have different levels. So if you're like at the top level, you maybe may meet the bigger the celebrities. You get more involved in deciding the production, and then the lower level. I mean, the lower level, whatever.
Yeah.
You'd get involved in going lesser involved and so forth. So it'd be involved in that. Now, which brings me up to one of my favorite ideas, which I really hope I get to do one time. I hope someone takes these ideas and helps me put it together. I just don't have time. The next one is called Prepper's Paradise.
Okay.
Prepper's Paradise would be like a secret club. You'd go to like a community place, like in the woods, and you'd learn how to survive. You learn how to, of course, yes, we know the gun part of it. Everyone knows that. But also how to can things, how to, if you're stuck in the woods, what like leaves can heal you, yoga, meditation, but everything away from this garbage. No cell phones.
Yeah.
You'd just be like learning the whole survival technique. And it would be like, if it built up, you could be in different areas. So you could have one in Florida, you could have one in New York, you'd have one in all the areas, and be trained to survive in any different world event.
Yeah, ecosystem, essentially.
You survive in right, exactly. And maybe it'd be off the grid, and you would just be like, you'd have fun, you do fun things that are like...
all cash. There's no online payments.
Right, yeah. But it's also like, learning how to can things, learning how just to survive off the ground that you're on. You know what I'm saying? And this would be like a club type thing. So you'd have to be like part of the membership.
Right.
And so they would check you. So they wouldn't have like these people that were like neo-Nazis join us or like extreme left, left group, whatever. It would just be people that were just trying to learn how to survive in different conditions, have fun with each other, have a good time without the big TVs and entertainment and stuff like that.
Yeah, the one region that you can't do it in would be Arizona. Just those people... If everything goes to shit, there's no surviving out there in the desert. You just gonna
this is true.
Those people, just you're gonna burn to death. That's
It's funny that you brought that up because I did watch a podcast, and the podcast was this was not supposed to happen. I apologize if any had planned what's happening. Called All Things Considered.
Okay.
And they taught about how to survive in the desert.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and how to survive a day in the desert.
I do want to go hiking in the desert. That's always been a dream of mine. I never did it.
Well, you may not come back. Maybe that's
That's
why.
I know.
Maybe it's a dream, the last dream.
No, I want. I do want to. No, I want to do it. It's so different. I'm bored of. I've lived here on the East Coast my whole life. I'm tired of just the same old leaves,
Right.
mountains. I want to go. I want to see some mesas and just like.
I mean,
travel up
I was in Wyoming. If you want to go somewhere, go to Wyoming.
Wyoming or Montana.
Right.
Montana looks nice. I want to go to that island. You know that big body of water with that little island that's in the beginning of The Shining. It's like a famous little island.
Right.
It's still there. It looks exactly the same. The trees haven't gotten any bigger, and it's still there in the middle. I think it's somewhere in Montana, or like it's somewhere near like the border of Montana and like somewhere near. I don't know. I think it's in Montana, that area.
Yeah.
But it looks gorgeous.
Well, when you go to Wyoming, if you're not a religious person, you find God, because when that lightning strikes and there's no towers, no building, the whole sky lights up. It is such a cool effect. It's better than any film effect you can actually do. I should film it. It's a beautiful thing. I did that a long time ago with the Cowboys thing. So, we are now moving to, quote, trending music and topics. We went a little bit off the cake. We're going to do trending music and trending videos. Are you ready in a few moments?
trending. Okay.
Well, we're back now with all the exciting trending topics, music, and videos you probably won't see anywhere else, with my friend Nick Dispensa. Okay,
Hey.
Are we ready?
Yes.
Now I gotta learn how to use this computer.
I don't.
Okay, I'm learning at the same time. Thank you, everybody.
Right.
This is a song that I heard that's very different. This is the Arctic Monkeys. There'd Be a Mirrorball. I just saw this song. It's very different. I'll just see what you think.
Don't get emotional, that ain't like you. Yesterday's still leaking through. But that's nothing new. I know I promised this is what I wouldn't do, but somehow giving it the old romantic fool.
Okay, and this goes on like basically the same way. I thought it was very unique, especially with the tone. In the background, it's repeating the same melody over and over again. It has a little bit of a sound to me, like almost like big bandish, like the old times, like maybe different flavor to it.
Yeah, a little bit of that.
You know,
The symbol. It's kinda like yeah.
it was on the alt countdown today. Just jumped my.
I'm gonna tell you that the lead singer looks just like Robert De Niro in Taxi Driver in that first opening shot. Looks
That's
just like
interesting. Wow,
Travis
that is
Bickle.
freaky. I didn't even see that.
Yeah.
That's really interesting. I mean, I just think I don't know if I like it or not, but as a quote, a Bud Rebel taste, I think it has a little bit of the Rebel taste of it being a little different. I haven't found out whether I actually like it in the Bud taste. And this song I just saw, I really like. This is from Arden Jones. It starts out, I'm going to play a little bit long. I apologize for the viewer. But because it starts out, and it's not like, again, here's a song to me, Arden Jones, sorry, that starts out basically like a little different and builds up. I don't know if it has the Rebel side, but definitely has the Bud side to it, let's say.
Sure.
Here we go.
She's so relentless. I find out that she thinks I'm an ordinary friend, but I find in my mind that's not alright. So let's check back in again. Sentence is all it takes. You'll be in my arms, back in my bed again. But she finds in her mind that's not alright. So let's check back in. I think that you're lying, it's hard to believe. You think that your life would be harder with me, but you know damn well that I've been working. If it ain't me, then nobody deserves it. You're too busy rocking with irrelevant guys. I am surprised I can still get by. Trust me, the lows, they still get low. It's all because of you that I still get high. This ain't what I meant when I told you what you meant to me. I'd like to introduce you to my best friend, Hennessy. We've been chilling every single night this week. Full throttle, without you by my side, I'ma buy another. She's so relentless.
Okay. So
Yeah.
I mean, I really like it. It's really catchy. I don't know if there's any catchphrase to it, but I don't know if it's. I like it. I just don't know if there's any quote rebellious sound to this thing, or it's just very typical.
It has a very angsty teen sound to it. I feel like that has been done like quite a few times. But then again, you know what? Like every generation has an angsty teen like sound. You know, I mean, there's something for the teens of every generation like that. I mean, that's kind of
Is the voice that is it his voice that I find his voice a little different. I mean,
it is a little. I feel like that's some kind of a style that I've been noticing lately. That I don't know. It's the way they pronounce certain
words a little different,
words.
right? Yeah.
So it's a generational thing. I feel like it's an offshoot of stuff that used to exist when I was in high school.
It's a little punky.
A little bit of that. It has like that. It's like an offshoot from like the pop punk stuff from the early 2000s that I remember when I was younger. But it's graduated. It's evolved to something different.
Oh, so it's a little bit.
Definitely,
so
yeah.
we can put it a little bit.
Think
on
of like
maybe a list.
if you listen to Blink 182, he does that. He does like these weird sounds, you know.
So that's that. Okay.
But then this person's taking it and kind of
Higher level.
to like a higher level. Yeah.
Okay, so then maybe I could put him in the Bud Rebel.
You should bring that guy on. Do you know him?
I don't know him yet.
You don't know him? Well,
So, no,
you should
again,
reach
he
out
was
to him.
on the alt countdown.
Ah.
Now, there's been a little controversy, supposedly, on the quote a movie that's a kids movie,
Okay.
and I have not even seen this till this moment. We're gonna see
Okay.
right now. It is called The Little Mermaid. It's a different version. I
Ah,
want to see what the
yes.
controversy is. I'm gonna watch it.
Red-headed
Let's see
Little
what it is.
Mermaid.
I haven't seen it. Looks like a mermaid. So so far it looks like a standard video to me.
Mm-hmm.
Out of the sea. Wish I could be part of that world.
All right, so that's been very controversial, The Little Mermaid.
I wonder how they make them feel like they're underwater, even though they're not underwater. Like how they keep the hair doing, moving like it's underwater or like out,
You're
when
the
they-
talent in the film
That's
industry.
like, I'm hoping they did something practical with that instead of just CGI their hair.
So without being so direct, but without being direct.
I'd maybe, just not wash it in the morning. Right? So,
So this is fairly controversial. This Little Mermaid.
see why, yeah.
What do you see in that's controversial?
I mean, it's obvious she's just not the right race. The Mer people are a very proud people.
so
and-
there are mer people you've met,
Yeah, no, and they get no representation in Hollywood. It's disgusting.
really?
Yeah.
And where have you seen these mer people? Have you seen them when you were visiting that little white room recently?
The
or-
White Room? No,
No,
no. It was when I was drowning off the coast of Nantucket
Nantucket.
Yeah.
That's Nantucket. You mean by when you were at Martha's Vineyard?
by Martha's Vineyard.
Oh,
Yeah,
they had. Is that when they had the illegal immigrants there?
yeah. The illegal immigrants actually took me out on a boat and then threw me over the edge. And they were like, "Hey,
Wow.
fuck you, Mr. American," and then that's what happened. But I'm
And
a
you met-
bleeding heart liberal, so I couldn't get mad.
And
at
so,
them.
okay. So, and then this Merv person saved you.
This Mer person saved me and said, "Listen,
What
I
color
know
was she, by the way? What color Merv people?
translucent." Yeah,
They're not white or black. They're translucent.
Yeah, no, they get no tan down there.
Wow.
Yeah, it's kind of sad.
And they never put them in a film yet.
They haven't put any of these folks in the film. The first woman was white.
Yeah. This one appears to be maybe African American.
Yeah.
Have you? So they're just translucent, and you hung out with them for a little bit.
Yeah, I mean they're very
They wear shells, I say.
yeah.
They make their own shell body?
bras.
Shell bras.
Yeah.
I wonder how they
It's-
make that.
I don't know.
very
I don't think they have
interesting.
many other materials down there. I think they tried seaweed, but I'm assuming that would break all the time.
Like you swing with a shell. It's interesting.
Yeah.
Very,
Well,
very
they
well.
got to cover up. They're still kind of living in like the Shakespearean era. They still use they thou.
Wait. That's the pronouns. They
yeah.
thou. Okay.
Yeah, they're a little behind us.
Wait. I'm sorry. I don't think that's right to say they're behind us. They're different. No, they have a different cultural
Different
aspect, and
that's less civilized.
I don't know
than
the
us.
civilized. We just don't. We don't respect their
Yeah,
where
we
they come
don't
from.
respect,
Back that
but with all due respect,
That's
yeah.
fine. That's if they. Maybe we should be wearing shells. Maybe that instead of the new clothes, we should be wearing shells instead.
I would do that. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm thinking
just
that.
all shells.
Okay, so now we understand the controversy in the Murph people. Now I didn't understand it before, but okay, thank you. I appreciate that. On a different topic, this is one of the more popular songs in the metalcore, I would say. It's called "By Falling in the Reverse."
Metalcore.
Metal,
Are people
Falling
still
in
making
Reverse.
metal now?
I think
Does
so.
that
There's a
happen?
great group called Across the White Tower. I think I heard of them somewhere.
I haven't really watched it
Here we go.
in a very long time.
Keep on telling me to pray, cause I'm spinning like a carousel, circling the train. Hit the bottom of the bottle, I don't wanna feel the pain, but that is all I got for now. I don't wanna talk about the voices in my head, keep on begging me to stay. If I pull the trigger now, then the demons go away. And I know my time is coming, so there ain't no time to waste. So that is all I got for now.
I just want to know why he's high up in the air. How does he do that?
He's
That's pretty good.
meditating.
That's pretty cool. That effect of that, is that that's a black screen? What do you think?
I don't know exactly how they're making it happen because it's kind of small on the screen, but I like the way the video's shot.
Yeah.
It's very it feels very. It kind of reminds me of like a '90s video because I'm a very big '90s fan, and I like the angles they're using. I like the lenses they're using, and I do like the lighting.
How much do you think a video like this would
It's
cost?
expensive. It's a big space they're using, and they built a whole set around him.
I mean, and then a lot of this. A lot of this again is blue screen type work on this type of thing, right?
I don't think it's blue screen. I think they have him. Well, I don't know how they have him imposed in there, but they definitely have a real. Either way, they have to film a real location and move around. So they still had to film in this big space. They had to build that cage around him.
And I think that it's really a great song. It's like really impact. I mean, and the voices in the head. I mean, the idea again. I think it may be dealing with mental health a bit on that. How people have
Definitely, yeah.
and how people have to deal with that. That brings me to another topic that I wanted to bring up before I forgot.
Yes.
It's another
Mental
podcast. Yeah, well, I always had to bring that, but I'll make a joke.
Talk about that. Yeah.
But no, but there's there's a podcast I was watching, and it dealt with, and I wish I knew the name off the top of my head. It dealt with the issue about your inner mind and how your inner mind controls what you think. And it's a lot of negative things you hear, like you're stupid, you're dumb, you're not able to do this, blah blah blah, and how to conquer your inner mind and how to change the philosophy of what you perceive in your life. I just think it's very good in life to be able to conquer that situation. We have that going on. A lot of what we hear, it tells us we can't do things and we can't accomplish what we want. I mean, Nick, I'm going to end on a note. I'm going to go back about this. I mean, when you were younger, I don't know where you started out, but to think that where did you start out? I mean, in your life. I mean, were you thinking you were going to get in the film industry and stuff like that? And
I started out in a hospital.
I think we all started in the hospital.
When did I want to get into film?
Yeah, I mean, you're a fairly accomplished person. I mean, people who want to make it in this industry. I mean, you've been involved in a couple of feature films, I believe, and you've been involved in a whole bunch. And I mean, it's scary for a lot of people. I mean, there's like I was telling you, there's probably inner thoughts in your head. You can't do this. Every actors, and I mean, you had to conquer those thoughts as a whole. And you want to end with a note about how you were able to do that and make it happen in this world.
I remember when I first knew I wanted to make movies, I used to be obsessed with TV and movies, and like I used to watch, there was a couple of go-tos all the time. I used to watch a lot of, I used to like the movie Little Shop of Horrors and like Home Alone. There's a whole bunch of movies I was watching. It must have been like 4 or something. And I remember my mom I was trying to ask why Seymour Krelborn, who's played by Rick Moranis, but like, why was that guy in Honey, I Shrunk the Kids and he has a different name? And my mom had to explain to me the concept of like, oh no, they're actors, they're pretending and they use cameras. And I was like, oh, once she explained this to me, I was like, oh, I want to do whatever that is, I need to do that. Like I knew, because I knew I liked watching movies. So so then I was just obsessed with making movies since I'm like a little kid. And I was making movies when I was like 9 years old. I'd like make my dad film us, me and my brother. We'd run around, like make little horror movies and whatnot. But I think the when I really started doing it professionally was probably when I was like in my early 20s. I started doing PA work. It was just I don't know. For me, I just kind of separated my ego from everything because I was trying to make movies on my own for a while and put stuff out, and I didn't know anything. But I insisted I knew everything, which was a real problem. So after a while, and I used to get frustrated all the time. Like we'd go out to film something, and then like a cloud would come overhead, and everything would start raining, and like I didn't know how to handle it. I was just a guy by myself. So after a couple of mental breakdowns, essentially, I just was basically, all right, I'm just gonna learn everything I can. And I had a friend who kind of took me under his wing and got me on a bunch of film sets that he was producing, like a bunch of music videos and commercials. And then I started PAing, and I went at it like, you don't know anything, so just take whatever these people say, even if they're total assholes. Just separate your ego from this whole thing, and just learn whatever you can. And then, and there were tons of assholes. People would like yell at you and like make you feel terrible. But but I would always try to separate my personality from that, and just not pay attention to any of the background noise. Let it get to me, and then over time, all the good people would eventually like me, and I would learn enough that I could cozy up to like the right people, and then over time I just started working more and more in higher positions.
So, to summarize, basically, if you don't mind,
Yeah.
if you had a lesson to give people at the end of the show, I would say it basically is just like focus. On what you want to accomplish, and don't let those voices out there stop you from your goals. And there are going to be a lot of voices. There are going to be a lot of negative energies.
There will be, yeah.
And you've got to stay focused on getting to that goal and not letting the world get to you. And if in the end, if you do that, you'll see success. If you let the other people get to you, then you're going to have those problems. And I think that's basically what we have at the end of the show on that note. If people out there can allow themselves to strive, even if the world appears to be against them, you'll see light at the end of the tunnel, you might say.